All right, we are recording. Hello, beautiful human. What's up? Y'all, it's been a hot biscuit since I've sat down and talked with y'all, right? And different setting entirely, right? But the one thing that remains consistent on my channel is not my posting schedule, but it's me recording with my bed involved in some way. Oh my gosh, how are you guys doing though? My gosh, so much has happened since we last talked, right? I touched on this, I just want to get straight to the point of this video. I talked about this in my community post that I just actually posted a couple hours ago, of where I've been wanting to set this week to really set the intention on exploring parts of myself that make me uncomfortable. And what I mean by this is that as of recent, my friend called me out on this, my best friend Iris, I always talk about her. She was my first friend. She's also a Libra, darling, so it's like Libras just get each other, baby. But she's truly, because she's just known me for so long, she understands how I think and process things. She's always the only person that can call me out. And so she called me out because we were talking, and we're talking about boys, we're talking about gossip, all the usual, girl. And she called me out on this one thing. I'm not going to go into too much detail because there's certain things that will expose. I don't want to talk about it, right? There's certain points I'm just let's hold back on the information so people don't think whatever. But I also have noticed, even with myself, is that I've been getting a lot more of attention in a way that I'm not used to getting. And I've touched on this in other videos before in the past, and it's that I don't see myself as attractive. And I know some of y'all are gonna roll your eyes and be like, all right, girl, bye. You're just fishing for compliments. And I promise you I'm not. I'll explain why I'm not. Ever since in high school and stuff, especially in high school, it really started. Early 2000s, there wasn't really any men or boys in makeup, I'll say. I was really I don't want to say I was a trailblazer, but I was very much so a lot of people's first experience when it comes to boys in makeup. And it has never been about, for me, being female presented, because I'm extremely comfortable with my masculinity. I've always identified as a man. So I also know some people will look at me, many people, it's always a conversation thing where people are just I don't know what your pronouns are and all that, right? Because I'm just eccentric. And so I just want to say, as a side note, it's I identify as a man, but pronoun wise, it's just you can call me he, she, thing, that, it, thing, ill, whatever, right? Just as long as you're respectful, I don't care what you call me, girl. And also that's why I say girl. I will, in my tarot videos, people will just be like, oh, these videos just for girls because you said girl. It's no, girl is dude, is gender neutral, right? How straight people will say dude for boys and girls, for the gays, girls is dude, right? Girls is gender neutral. And it's also just boy, if I'm reading tarot cards as a man, why would you think that these tarot readings are just for girls? Anyways, side tangent. So back then, I always would get compliments, and even now, less so now, but no, even now, of where most people would always compliment certain things about my aesthetic. Because I'm not really a artsy, creative person, mechanically. I'm very artistic, I'm very creative in my brain and how I see the world, right? I always say the most attractive things I find in people are their ability to be in touch with their emotions. I find emotions just to be such an attractive quality, as well as someone that's artistic or creative in whatever way. You could have painted bold and brash, darling, and showed me, and I would have gassed you the F up, darling. Even though this is basically the Mona Lisa for my generation. But I digress. I find artistic people just so attractive. I love artistic people. I love passionate people. And so that's just how I've always viewed the world. And so I've treated myself as an art project just because it's I can't mechanically do anything, darling. It's just girl, ain't nothing straight about me. My sexuality ain't straight. I can't draw a straight line. I can't fold a piece of, I'm not even joking. I can't even fold a piece of paper straight. I'm just not, it just isn't for me, darling. So the one thing I could always do, or at least I think I can do, is presenting myself as an art project. So everything I do, it's always just for the aesthetic, right? This nose piercing, darling, fake, right? The tattoos on my neck, fake, right? It's always I do things intentionally to go for a certain look. Yeah, I know like a lot of people call themselves like chameleons, right? You're being like, oh, I identify as a chameleon. I'm able to just change with the crowd. Like, baby, I take that and I amplify it, right? You can look at my past videos. Maybe I'll put some photos around here, but I'm always constantly drastically changing how I present myself because I just find it fun. To me, Halloween is every single day, right? Whatever clothes I'm wearing at the time, I'm exuding an energy. That's kind of just how I perceived things. And during my high school years and a little bit afterwards, the attention I would get from men, because I'm gay, what's up? I don't think I need to say that, but if you don't know, it's always been, I'm used to being fetishized, right? Because back then, like, there wasn't, again, there's no boys in makeup. So, like, I was very much so, like, a lot of men's first experience in terms, this sounds weird, but like first experience in terms of seeing like a man in makeup and wanting to explore that. I'm just used to that type of attention, if that makes sense. It's either about being fetishized or someone just complimenting my makeup, calling me brave, whatever that means, for being myself. And so as of recently, I've been really working on exuding a little bit more of my masculine traits as like a sexual human male. And it's been a really weird experience for me, and it makes me really uncomfortable, if I'm going to be honest, to receive the type of attention that I've been receiving. And it's not a complaint, right? I'm making the choice in doing this because I've been able to identify being like, all right, this is making me uncomfortable having these people perceive me in this way. I need to sink into this more. And so through my conversation with Iris, we were talking about boys and all that, and I just recently have been noticing through like my comments on YouTube and just like even just in the physical world of like just getting more attention from people perceiving me as like a attractive like sexual human male, and not about me being like a fetish of some type. And also like, you know, like it's not about like my personality or anything like that either, because it's like one thing I always want to say is just like I don't feel as if I have a confidence issue, because it's like, you know, I can say this with extreme confidence, darling, that I will say that anyone that meets me or has the opportunity to have me part of their life, I'm pretty confident in that I will easily be one of the most interesting or eccentric people that you will ever have in your life. I would definitely leave a mark in your life, darling. And I also am extremely confident in my humor. Like, I am extremely confident in that, like, you will probably not meet a funnier person in your lifetime if you get to engage with me personally. And, you know, I know people call that being full of yourself, and I'm just like, I challenge them, just like everyone should be. It's just like, you want to say I'm full of myself? Yes, I absolutely am, baby. Like, my cup runneth over. Everyone should feel extremely confident in who they are in that way. And so I'm just used to either being fetishized, or I'm used to people seeing me as like an interesting human being and wanting to just look into it more, right? And so the attention that I've been getting, where it's just perceiving me just as a human male and being like, oh wow, like just in that type of way, right? Y'all can tell like this is a conversation that makes me uncomfortable, right? I don't think I'm a prude, but at the same time, like I am kind of shy when it comes to like sexual conversations for whatever the reason. It's just something new for me. And I feel as if, you know, of recent years, especially in the last year and a half, or maybe 2 years, I've even wondered if I am asexual. And through my conversation with Iris, I'm starting to realize that I don't think I'm necessarily asexual, but it's like I've like turned my brain off from ever being perceived or allowing people to perceive me in like a sexual way. And I feel as if that's been like my coping mechanism. I guess I make this video asking for you guys' perspective, right? And I want to know if I'm alone in this thought process. And if I'm not, I'm curious as to hearing y'all's thoughts on like how to really go about taking this discomfort that I'm in and trying to really own it more, trying to be comfortable in this and what have you, because it's really been like a big struggle for me, because I'm trying to leave out certain details just because of reasons. But I was just talking to Iris, and I was just like, literally, I just was just in this place where I'm just like, I don't understand why these people are interested in me, right? I just don't get it. It just wasn't, I just cannot fathom it in my brain, because it's just like, they don't, you know, is like just the attention that I'm getting. I'm just like, this is weird for me. And I don't know how to get myself more comfortable in this place. And so I guess that's the purpose of like what I was like, why I'm making this video, is just to get some advice or just hear y'all's perspective on this, or just your thoughts in general. Maybe you can relate on some level. But that's been like my journey, right? And it's been weird, especially with my photos recently. Like baby Miss Beyonce is the perfect example. If you like, Beyonce has an alter ego named Sasha Fierce. So ridiculous. Sasha Fierce, and she says that's someone else entirely, right? Whenever she's channeling Sasha Fierce. And that's kind of how it is for me on some level when it comes to like my photos recently, of where it's just like the photos that I take, I don't see that as myself, if that makes sense. Like I see this and I'm just like, that's not me. That's like that's like a different identity. And so it's like this weird place where it's just like there's something mentally with me where it's like I completely disconnect when it comes to anything sexual. And I know on some level it probably has to deal with some like sexual trauma, right? If I'm going to be honest in that way. But I also acknowledge that there is some level of my own insecurity when it comes to being perceived in a sexual way. And I don't know how to really work through that, right? Is it just a situation of like constant exposure to this and like doing this, or is there something more that I need to be doing, right? Because I've been doing this for a while. I've been embracing this a little bit more for a while, but it's like, you know, the YouTube comments that I'll get, or just like the comments on social media, or like what little male attention that I do get. That sounds pathetic, but what male attention I do get now, it's from a place that I'm not used to, and it makes me uncomfortable. And I don't want you to feel, if you ever made a comment, like I don't want you to feel bad. I'm not also telling you to make comments like that either, because it's like I'm making the choice to do this, right? And it's just like I'm just in this place where it's just like, because this is just so new for me and I don't really have anyone to talk to about it that is able to relate to me, right? I don't have any gay friends around that I can like talk to about this with. So I was just kind of like, yeah, looking for your advice in that way, or just y'all's perspective, or like how to go about embracing that side of myself a little bit more and becoming more comfortable with it. Because I do acknowledge that's been like the one part of my life that's been lacking for quite some time, is like in a place of like an actual relationship. Because here's the thing, like I've touched on it in some of my videos as well, where it's like when I was living in Washington, like I had my first experience of a man like hitting me up, like coming to my table and like flirting with me, being so obvious about it, and it just going completely over my head, because in my brain I just couldn't conceptualize like a man coming up to me not being extremely crass because they're just like fetishizing me. Like there's just people just being genuinely interested and just getting to know me more because they just find me like attractive as a man. And so it's like I really have, that's been the aspect of my life that's been struggling the most, is like in terms of like the more romantic side, just because it's like, you know, what attention I do get, it probably just goes over my head, because again, like I just never perceive myself in that way. And it's like only like much later down the road that I'm just like, oh, wait a minute, they actually wanted to date me. So yeah, I'm just kind of at this place, y'all, where I'm like feeling a little bit lost or like confused, I guess. I don't know how to really go about exploring this. I don't know how to really make myself more comfortable with something like this, right? So I'm looking for advice in that way. And here's the thing as well, like I'm curious in terms of like what people are insecure about with themselves, right? Or like things that they're not confident with themselves in as well. Like, is there something about y'all that like you guys are just like, I don't know, right? Do you guys have like any type of self-limiting beliefs in a way where it's just like you can't conceptualize people finding you attractive as well, or what have you, right? Is this like just like an extremely deep-rooted insecurity that I have that like I like need to work on, or like am I like, is this like a normal thing? Does that make sense? Is this like normal for me to be feeling this way? Again, like I don't really have like my best friend Iris, like she's in a lovely relationship, right? And I'm not gonna go too much detail with her life because it's her business, but and plus like again, like I don't really have any type of friend that is really relatable, someone that I can really relate to, like another gay man to talk to about this. And so yeah, that's kind of just been like the place that I'm at. That's kind of been like my struggle currently, because I'm just so when it comes to just like working through like traumas, personal traumas and stuff like that, baby, easy. Like I can go through it easily. But when it comes to something like this, I really am just at a loss at how to go about this. And so I'm really am looking just for y'all's perspective. I'm interested in hearing about y'all's insecurities if you feel like sharing it as well, right? You don't feel like you have to as well, because obviously like we all have insecurities, but I think I'm just really coming from a place of just trying to figure out how to go about exploring my sexuality more. Not my I'm very gay, darling, but just exploring like the sexual nature of myself, because that's just a part of myself that's been extremely lacking. And I know as I continue to work on myself, as I continue working out and so on and so forth, I know the attention is going to, that sounds weird, but like I know the attention is just going to do nothing but increase as I get more, exude more of that energy, right? And so I really want to just make it a priority for myself in working on this side of myself. And so that's what I mean by when I say that I don't view myself as attractive. It's not that I think I'm ugly. It just is like you look at a painting and you're just like, wow, that's a really interesting painting. I even told my therapist this when I was going to therapy in Washington, where it's just like, I don't think I'm ugly. I just think I'm interesting to look at. And that's as far as it goes. I think I'm interesting to look at, but not in a way, it doesn't go past that. I feel as if I really exude like a extremely like, wholesome energy. And I don't feel as if wholesome and sexuality or like sexualness, sexual attractiveness like go hand in hand. I feel like it's kind of one way or the other. And so, yeah, I'm just kind of at a loss for that. So I don't think I really have anything else left to say in this video. I don't want this to be too long. So yeah, just let me know y'all's thoughts on this as well. I'm sorry if I'm not able to go into too many specifics with this, just because there are just certain things that like I don't want to be like just too detailed, I suppose, for reasons. But I hope I was able to like express what it is I'm thinking or like going through properly. But yeah, I love you guys so much, and we're definitely gonna be doing a lot more talks and hanging out. I definitely plan on changing up this background a little bit more, adding more, a little bit more je ne sais quoi to it, you know, adding a little bit more, jazzing this place up a little bit in the background. But you know, I just wanted to like sit down and do this video and just let you guys know where I'm at mentally and like what it is I'm working on personally. So I know some of you guys have even commented and just like noticed like the change and like how I am with myself as well. So I just feel like it was just kind of fitting, you know, to like this is kind of like long overdue. So I love you guys so much. And if you haven't heard it today, I see you, I hear you, and I love you so much again. Bye, girl.